Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Chrissy and welcome to Chrissy's Manga Corner, where on this channel we talk about all things manga, all things anime, and some other stuff as well. But basically, this channel is about healing your inner child one manga at a time. Well, it's basically me healing my inner child one manga at a time. Now, you're probably wondering, what is this video about? I'm just a person that uploads shorts on favorite mangas I collect and what I don't collect. I think it's time I start making videos on here that are about manga. I mean, I'm cool with doing shorts, but at the same time, it's like I have a lot to talk about on why I upload the videos I do and why I purchase the mangas that I do. So this video is for my seasoned otakus, my seasoned manga collectors, my seasoned anime watchers, my seasoned manga readers, anyone that is 30 plus in age, or anyone that's just now finding anime or manga, or anyone that is in the game currently and you are, what does the kids call it, Gen X, or Gen Z. I don't even know where I fall in, but this is the channel for nostalgic feels and reconnecting with your childhood favorite shows that we all love, and discovering new ones. So on this video, I'm going to be talking about the purpose of this channel a little more deeper. So if you're interested in learning more about that, stay tuned. All right, so the reason why I made this channel is because I'm a very nostalgic person when it comes to my manga collecting, my anime watching, and my manga reading. And as a kid, I had a huge collection, like big. I mean, from collecting Fruit Basket from the first volume to the very last volume, Rurouni Kenshin, Yu Yu Hakusho, you had it, you name it, I've had it. Um, but of course, life happened and I ended up having to give it away. Now I'm 30 years old and I'm recollecting mangas that I used to have back in the day, but I'm going to be putting a twist on it. I also study languages. It's another hobby I do, and Japanese is one of them. So, because I had my manga collection in English, I decided to start collecting my manga in Japanese for my practice of learning Japanese. And also, this is low key one of my childhood dreams of owning Japanese books because I always found Japanese books to be so attractive. I'm not saying that the English mangas were, they weren't cute or anything, but something about holding a Japanese manga really does make me feel good. I don't know why that is. But yeah, so if you look at my videos, my shorts, you're going to notice that I maybe have one or two mangas that are in English. There is a reason for that, and I will be uploading a video about that soon. But a lot of my mangas are in Japanese, and it's not for just collecting, it's because I genuinely use them as ways to study Japanese. And if you're interested in learning Japanese, I also have a channel that I will link at the bottom of this video so that you can know how I use manga as an immersion tool to study Japanese. But yeah, so you'll notice a lot of my mangas are in Japanese. That's the reason why. And the reason why I collected is because I already had my English manga. So I want my Japanese manga collection now. So I think I'm gonna start this whole thing with my story time on how I was introduced to anime as a kid. And yes, this started when I was a kid. I was like maybe 6 or 7 years old when I was introduced to anime. And at the time, I didn't know it was anime. So, any of my seasoned, well anime watchers, if you are familiar with how anime was introduced to us back in the day, we had a little thing called Toonami. Now they're trying to make Toonami into this big thing on Adult Swim, but we all know back in the day, Toonami used to be on Cartoon Network as like a weekend thing or during the weekdays, like after school. So the animes I would watch during that time was Sailor Moon, Hamtaro, um, Yu Yu Hakusho. Um, I would believe it's one of the Gundam series, like Gundam Seed, those type. I never was a fan of Gundam. I'm gonna be honest with you. I never liked Gundam growing up as a kid. I always found it to be weird and strange. But I know people that like it. So again, if you're a fan of the Gundam series, great. For me as a kid and even now, I can't watch it. I just can't. Of course, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball. Um, if you were someone back in the day that used to watch your anime on TV, leave a comment down below because I'm probably missing a lot more. And these are for the kids that back then couldn't afford the Funimation channel. So if you had like parents that could afford the Funimation channel, you were the lucky ones. We had to figure out how we were going to watch the animes we wanted to watch later down the line. But yeah, when I first started watching anime, I didn't even know it was anime. I just thought it was regular cartoons. I'd also like to add Zatch Bell into the mix because that was another one that came on Toonami and then just disappeared. It just went poof, gone. And now I know why. I know why now because I caught up with the manga and I realized a lot of stuff in that series had to be censored and they just couldn't keep up anymore. But again, that's just surface level stuff. Of course, there's other things involved that I'm not aware of, but that was my theory. But yeah, at that time, the only time I was able to watch anime was on certain days. Like Cartoon Network had Toonami back in the day. It used to be around 5 or 6 o'clock. Then, of course, they changed it to the weekend at one point. And then I would watch some of my other animes, like on channels like Jetix, 4 Kids TV. I think Yu-Gi-Oh played on 4 Kids TV, and Mega Man played on Jetix. Um, Magical Do-Re-Mi also played either on Jetix or 4 Kids TV. I'm naming a lot of old um, anime I used to watch when I was a kid. Tokyo Mew Mew, another one, another oldie but goodie that used to either play on Jetix or what is it, 4 Kids TV. So back in those times, YouTube wasn't as big as it is now. And even then, a lot of us who are well seasoned in this lifestyle, we had to get with the times. So a lot of us, we would also get our anime fixes on, on YouTube channels. Or if you were familiar with Crunchyroll back in the day, you would get your fix on Crunchyroll.com. Before Crunchyroll became like an app and before it became like a subscription and all that stuff, Crunchyroll was that place, that forum, that online forum you would go to watch a lot of your stuff if you had a working computer. Unfortunately, that was not the case for me, so I had to take it back to YouTube and figure it out. Some of us understand that struggle very well. I didn't realize this until I started to look into the dub community. So, one thing about me, I don't discriminate. I watch my anime both in dub and in sub. So before you come in the comments and ask me which team I'm on both teams. I can play both teams. I have that right to play both teams because back in those times where I was a kid, we didn't have the luxury to watch our anime in Japanese. We just didn't. It was in English. It was censored. It was a lot was going on back then. We just was happy that we were able to watch anime in the comforts of our own home. But now, not now, but in that timeline, we had to figure out how else we were going to watch our anime. And that's when YouTube played a big role in that. So I remember watching a lot of my old series. Let me name an example. I'm not going to say Naruto, but I've caught myself watching certain Naruto episodes in 3 or 4 parts in English dub and sometimes in Spanish subtitles. I've caught myself watching that a couple times. Rurouni Kenshin was one. Dragon Ball Z was one. Back then, YouTube was the wild, wild west. Whatever you upload is whatever you upload. It was very, very flexible. Now it's super strict. I mean, you can find certain animes you can watch on YouTube, but it's different. It's not like how it was back then. So, my journey with anime and manga started at a very young age, and I wanted to just share that backstory with you because Years later, I didn't start reading manga until I was in middle school. And that's because my library in middle school had mangas. And at that time, I didn't know it was called manga. I just thought they were regular comic books. So, of course, I got educated by my friends and they told me, no, Crystal, no, Chrissy. That's my real name, by the way. Chrissy, Crystal, it doesn't matter. You can call me whatever. Um, no, Chrissy, this is manga. This is not a comic. This is Japanese versions of their comic books and their cartoons. And that's when I got educated on manga and I was hooked. I was hooked. I remember grabbing my first ever manga, and it was actually the Fuji Igiyugi series. If you're familiar with that series, leave a comment down below. And boy, oh boy, I didn't even get the first volume. I think it was either volume 14 or 11. And at the time, I didn't know that there were volumes. Like, my world was opened when I discovered that you can collect these and read stories. So at the time, my first was Fujiki Yugi. I ended up giving it to my cousin because I didn't really care for it. But then I started to collect other mangas. So I remember grabbing Naruto Volume 5. And at that time, Naruto was definitely picking up in the game. It was definitely the manga was actually following the series on Toonami. So I remember reading Volume 5 without even reading the first volume. So, yes, again, I didn't get the first volume. I tend to get volumes that are not the first. I don't know why that is. Hence the reason why I am the way I am today with my manga collecting, because I tend to bond with certain plots after doing my research on the series itself. So after receiving volume 5, I read it over and over and over again because I fell in love with Naruto at that time. And of course, after getting volume 1, I eventually got volume 1. Did I say that? Eventually, I got volume 1 because I had volume 5. And of course, I started watching the series on Toonami. And at that time, the manga and the anime lined up with each other. I'm not quite sure if they do that now. I consider myself being pretty retired in the otaku lifestyle and manga watching and um, manga reading, anime watching. I watch the new ones here and there, but it's not something I go out of my way to watch. If it's good, I'll make time for it. Trust and believe me. If it's a good one, I will definitely clear my schedule for it. And I've seen a couple in the years I've retired out of the lifestyle, but that's for another video. So my mangas were not the typical volume 1 and then so on. I would tend to get volumes that were like midway through the series or like the end of the series. I remember collecting my first ever volume called Full Moon Osagashi, and it's called Full Moon. So if you're interested in the title for that, the anime title, it's just Full Moon, and the actual title is Full Moon Osagashi, and I was obsessed with that series. That was my first ever, I would have to say, my first ever like shoujo manga. And then eventually I found Fruit Basket, fell in love with that series, was obsessed with that series. Like, oh my goodness, I would wait every month for the volume to come out. I think there's like 24, 25 volumes. I ended up getting all of them. But of course, I ended up giving it away. But I'm just sharing my little story on how my love for anime and manga started. And of course, it went through my whole entire childhood from 5 or 6 all the way up until I graduated high school. I remember back in high school, I was obsessed with Full Metal Alchemist because my library had like all the books, and I was just so happy that my librarian at that school that I went to would keep multiple copies at a time because it was so popular. So I remember reading that. Then I was introduced to Peach Girl in middle school. That was fun. That was fun. And then I was also introduced to a couple other mangas. Can't remember it on top of my head. I was introduced to School Rumble, Skip Beat, of course, Zatch Bell. I mean, eventually I started reading Zatch Bell because I couldn't watch it on TV anymore, and at the time I did not feel like watching my animes in parts. And I will create another video on how thankful I am that we finally have subscriptions now that we can actually afford, and we can actually watch, and um, we can actually watch all of our old series that we used to watch back in the day. So that's really fun, but that's a video for another time. Right now, I'm kind of all over the place because as I'm talking, I feel like I'm just remembering all these things, and that is why this channel exists, because it's super nostalgic to me. It's something that I grew up. I learned a lot of valuable lessons in these characters that are not even real, but I also learned a lot about the Japanese culture, and it also inspired me to learn the language. So there's layers to this, and that's why it's very healing to me, and it could be healing for you. If you grew up watching anime and you wanted inspiration in your life, Naruto was a big one in our time. In our time, I'm 30 years old. In our time, Naruto was that dude. Bleach was that dude. One Piece is still that guy. Like, of course, the big three. You gotta know the big threes. Funny story, I didn't start watching One Piece seriously until my early 20s. Of course, I followed One Piece in the journey of it being where it is today back in the day when the voice actors were shitty. Let's be honest. The dub voice actors weren't the best, especially Sanji. I could not stand Sanji's voice actor at all. It's like he wasn't hitting the Sanji that I made up in my head in the book, in the manga. So when they finally got that together, I was like, finally. So I didn't actually start taking the series seriously until I was introduced it again to another otaku, another well-seasoned otaku, and every day for the 30 days I interned at this physical therapy office, he explained to me the story of One Piece. And when he did that, I was hooked. And then I started watching it, and now I'm watching it to this day. So it's stuff like that I like to talk about on this channel because I get this nostalgic feeling of remembering where I was at that time in my life when I was reading certain mangas. So that's what you're going to get on this channel. One moment, excuse me. Okay, I'm back. Yeah, so this is a pretty long video. I didn't mean for it to be this long. I just was going to tell you my backstory. But again, when I talk about manga and anime, I do a lot of jumping around because it's like when I talk about one series, I remember another series. And that's how I believe anime and manga has kind of shaped my life and in a way kind of helped me to heal from certain childhood traumas in my life because that's what I had. I didn't have a therapist. I didn't have people to talk to about my problems. You know, I read my mangas and watched my anime and found inspiration. And overall, the messages in every manga and anime I've watched was always to be your true self and to always um, do better for yourself and not to be hard on yourself, but also be disciplined with yourself. My range of anime tends to change, so I'm not like fixated on just one genre. I have like a couple genres I've watched. So yes, I am one of those people that watch shonen and shoujo, and then I watch fantasy, and then other genres. So I tend to have a very colorful palette when it comes to that. But yeah. So yeah, this video is getting pretty long. Hopefully you guys get the gist of what this channel is about. I'm going to try my best to start making more videos on here instead of shorts, but something about shorts and sharing my manga like that, I don't know. I just like, I don't, it just makes me feel more at home when I do it. I'm not a content creator, but I guess this is a form of content creating. So yeah, um, if you're interested in manga, anime, um, collecting manga, discussions on how anime and manga has changed my life through different series that I've watched and read over the years, and you want to connect with that, this channel is for you. So I'm going to end the video now. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe and leave a comment on some nostalgic episodes or series, not episodes, like nostalgic shows that you used to watch back in the day, especially if you are a seasoned anime watcher, meaning you're 30 years old plus and you've been introduced to the golden animes back in the day were when the only thing we could watch at that time was dub. Sub was not a thing. It was just dub. And again, I have no fight in this. I don't have a dog in this fight. I love both dub and sub as long as I can feel a connection with the character, with the voice actors, I'm good. But yeah, thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye.